The registry isn't the treasure trove of secrets the hackers want it to be. It's obscure and cryptic, designed that way deliberately. So while it can help resolve some Windows issues, it's not the friendliest thing to use. To examine or modify the registry, run the Registry Editor program. Tap the Windows key and type RegEdit and choose the Registry Editor desktop app. Click Yes if you see a UAC warning. And here you see the Registry Editor window displaying the registry's contents in a specific structure, like folders on a hard drive. At the top level are 5 registry hives. HKEY class's root is used by programs for file association and sharing. HKEY current user contains settings for the current user, that's you. HKEY local machine contains settings for all users. HKEY users contains the original user settings. Items from this hive are copied into the current user hive, and HKEY current config contains hardware information about the PC. The purpose of all these hives and their contents is to retain system-wide settings in a central location. Programs and the Windows operating system access registry information, and you can make changes as well. In fact, you can do so all the time just by using Windows normally. It's rare that you must go spelunking into the registry editor. To fix something though, it does happen now, before you do anything in the registry, and especially if you just plan on goofing off. Though I think that's called hacking Back Up the Registry. Choose File, Export, and use the default directory documents. Type a name for the backup as such as a registry backup, and follow it by the date. And click Save. Now at this point, you could make changes as directed by whatever source you're using as a reference. The goal is to find a specific registry key and edit it. To do so, you would open a specific hive such as HKEY current user, and then you would open the various folders to get to a specific key such as Software, Microsoft, Windows, Current Version, Explorer, and the various keys appear on the right side of the window. Now these items are cryptic, and without any documentation they are useless to you. But to edit one, you would double-click it and type a new value as prescribed by whatever authority you're using as a reference. So for example, whatever this would do. Double-click it, and then you could type a new value in here. Now, if something goes awry, you can restore the old registry backup. You'd have to restart the registry editor, and then click File, Import, and locate the backup file you created earlier. Click Open to restore the backup. Now I'm going to remind you again that the registry is not a place to mess around. Be aware that some tips and tricks offered on the internet may not be valid for your version of Windows, so be careful. Always ensure that you back up the registry before you perform any task or random experimentation. When you need to get down to the nitty-gritties of managing your PC storage, you summon the Computer Management Console. Within the console, you'll find the Disk Management tool, which lets you access your PC storage device at both a physical and logical level. To access the Computer Management Console, tap the Windows key and type Computer Management. Choose the Computer Management desktop app. The Computer Management Console hosts many tools that help you assess the system's current status, such as the Task Scheduler and Event Viewer. In the storage area, choose Disk Management. Here you see a list of storage devices attached to the computer. This is a similar list to the one that shows up when you elect to choose a boot device when the PC first starts. Below the list you'll see the chart of each physical storage device. This chart includes physical hard drives, internal and external, as well as any media cards or thumb drives available to the computer. A physical drive is partitioned into logical drives or volumes. In many cases, the physical drive is the same as a logical drive, and that partition fills the entire drive space. That's true for drive G here. For the PC's boot drive, and perhaps other hard drives, you may find multiple partitions. If the partitions are available in Windows, they're assigned drive letters, and the letters show up in the Disk Management Console. For For the Windows boot drive, the physical disk, you typically see multiple partitions. So each partition isn't assigned a drive letter in Windows. On this screen you see 3 partitions on the PC's primary storage device. The EFI drive is where the BIOS program, the UEFI or UEFI is stored using this startup partition is covered in another movie. Another partition found on the primary hard drive is the Windows Recovery Partition. This volume contains Windows' original configuration information, which is how you can reset Windows or reinstall the operating system. On some PCs, this partition might instead contain a manufacturer's recovery program or diagnostic tools. Neither the UEFI or recovery partitions are assigned drive letters, but they show up here. Because they are formatted storage on the primary storage device, they are logical drives. Under certain circumstances, it's possible to expand a logical partition on a physical hard drive. The net effect is that you get a larger logical drive, but only when room is available on the hard drive. You can perform this task in a number of ways. First, if you see an unused portion of any physical drive, you can expand an existing partition to fill that space. That's not true for any of the drives on this system. Second, if you're not using a partition, you can remove it and then expand another partition into the unused space. For example, on this drive you could remove one of these partitions if you weren't using it and then expand. Like remove this one and then expand this one to fill the space. Third, you can shrink one partition to allow room for another partition to expand. To shrink a partition, you select it, right-click, and then choose Shrink Volume. Here you see the current volume size and how much you can reduce that size. The figure is calculated based on how much of the storage is actually in use. If I were to proceed with shrinking this partition, you would see available space here. At that point, I could create a new volume. Say another partition was available, I could expand it into that. You can shuffle the things around. That's the way it's done. But it's very rare, and it doesn't happen that often. And if you do plan on shrinking and expanding partitions to, say, increase the size of a volume somewhere, please ensure that the data on the drive is backed up and fresh. You want to keep that safety copy handy just in case anything goes awry in this process.